Once upon a time, in the warring states of Japan, there lived a man named Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Alongside Oda Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu, he was considered one of the three great heroes of the Sengoku period. Now, Hideyoshi had quite the humble beginnings. He was born to a foot soldier named Kinoshita Yaeman and his wife, Naka, in a place that corresponds to present-day Nakamura village in Aichi district, Awari province. Young Hideyoshi, full of dreams and aspirations, declared, "I shall become a samurai," at the tender age of 15. And so, he bid farewell to his birthplace and journeyed to Nagamine district in Totomi province, where he entered the service of the Matsushita clan, vassals to the mighty Imagawa clan. At that time, Hideyoshi went by the name of Kinoshita Fujioshiro, and he caught the attention of the Matsushita clan, who took him under their wing. But alas, his tenure with them was short-lived, as fate had other plans in store. Despite his setback, Hideyoshi's indomitable spirit pushed him forward. He decided to take matters into his own hands and carve out his destiny. With a twinkle in his eye and a heart full of ambition, he set off on a path that would lead him to greatness. Now, let me regale you with tales of the legendary Hideyoshi, a man whose exploits would go down in history. With sheer determination and strategic prowess, he not only vanquished the treacherous Akechi Mitsuhide, who had slain the illustrious Oda Nobunaga at Hanaji Temple, but also emerged victorious in the tumultuous battle against Shibata Katsui during the siege of Shizugatake. As his victories piled up, so did his allies. Hideyoshi, like a spider weaving its intricate web, ensnared powerful figures such as Mori Terumoto and Kobayakawa Takakage, expanding his influence far and wide. And thus, he ascended to the pinnacle of power, becoming the ruler of all Japan and assuming the title of Kanpaka, or regent. But it wasn't just his military prowess that captivated the hearts and minds of the people. Hideyoshi was a man of great wit and charm. Legends say that he constructed the impregnable, one-night castle of Samomata, overnight, bewildering his enemies with his audacity and strategic genius. And who could forget his ingenious escape route at the Battle of Kawanakajima, known as the retreat path of Kinkaizaka. Toyotomi Hideyoshi's life was a tapestry woven with humor and audacious adventures. From his humble origins as the son of a foot soldier to his rise as the ruler of a unified Japan, he left an indelible mark on history. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to be regaled with tales of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the hero whose journey was as entertaining as it was extraordinary. In the year 1554, a young Toyotomi Hideyoshi began his journey as a humble servant under the renowned warlord Oda Nobunaga. Little did he know that this fateful encounter would shape his destiny in the most amusing of ways. By 1561, Hideyoshi had risen through the ranks and become the leader of the foot soldiers, a position known as Ashigaru Kamigashira. It was during this time that he resided in a longhouse alongside his fellow foot soldier, Sugiwara Sadatoshi, and fate played its mischievous hand. You see, Sadatoshi had a daughter named Nene, and the stars aligned for a comical twist of destiny. Hideyoshi, the ambitious foot soldier, found himself marrying Nene, the daughter of his longhouse companion. Oh, the tales of domestic harmony and warring ambitions that must have ensued. But fear not, dear reader, for Hideyoshi's journey was just beginning. And he was about to embark on a series of remarkable escapades. In 1566, during the invasion of the Saito clan in Mino province, Hideyoshi achieved a feat that would go down in history, the legendary, one-night castle of Samomata. In a daring move, he constructed a castle overnight right under the noses of his enemies. How did he do it, you ask? Well, he cleverly floated timber downstream from the river's source, allowing him to continue building the castle surreptitiously. It was a stroke of genius that not only solidified Hideyoshi's reputation but also caught the attention of his lord, Oda Nobunaga. The year 1568 witnessed the Battle of Kanronji Castle, where Hideyoshi unleashed his audacious tactics once again. Leading a night raid on Minosaki Castle, he successfully captured it, contributing greatly to Oda Nobunaga's quest for unification. And let us not forget the whimsical events that transpired during the Battle of Kanegasaki in 1570. Hideyoshi, ever the entertainer, staged a dramatic retreat known as the Retreat Path of Kinkaizaka. With a theatrical flair that would make even the most seasoned performers envious, he orchestrated a strategic withdrawal, dazzling friend and foe alike. His performance was so remarkable that he was rewarded with several dozen golden coins as a testament to his valor. In the whimsical tale of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's life, we find our ambitious hero at a turning point. It was the year 1572 when he made a bold declaration, vowing to become a figure akin to the mighty Danjo Nagamune or Shibata Katsui. And so, taking inspiration from these formidable warriors, he shed his former name and emerged as the flamboyant and cunning Hashiba Hideyoshi. With his newfound identity, Hashiba Hideyoshi set out on a path to expand his influence within the Oda regime. The year 1575 marked a significant milestone in his journey. During the Battle of Nagashino, our hero showcased his strategic prowess by leading a successful assault on the infamous Kiriyama Castle. His rise to prominence had begun. But alas, dear reader, fate has a mischievous sense of humor. In 1577, just when Hashiba Hideyoshi seemed poised to claim even greater victories, a calamitous event unfolded. It all transpired during the Battle of Tendagawa in Kaga Province. Due to a difference of opinion regarding battle strategy, a heated dispute erupted between our protagonist and the indomitable Shibata Katsui. Frustrated and without authorization, Hashiba Hideyoshi abruptly withdrew his troops. Little did he know that this impulsive act would have far-reaching consequences. The aftermath was nothing short of calamity. Shibata Katsui suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the renowned warlord Uesugi Kenshin. When news of Hideyoshi's unauthorized retreat reached Oda Nobunaga, the wrath of the great lord was unleashed upon him. Oh, the scolding and tongue-lashing he received. One can only imagine the comical spectacle of a chastised Hashiba Hideyoshi hanging his head in shame. But our hero, resilient and ever resourceful, wasn't about to let this setback define his fate. In that very same year, he sought redemption by participating in the Battle of Mount Shigi. As fate would have it, he joined forces to quell the treacherous Matsunaga Hisahide, who had twice betrayed Oda Nobunaga. It was a daring move, but one that ultimately earned him the chance to restore his tarnished reputation. Through his valiant efforts, Hashiba Hideyoshi regained the trust and admiration of Oda Nobunaga. Rewards and accolades were bestowed upon him, signifying a renewed bond of loyalty between the two. Once again, he stood as a favored companion of the great warlord. In the whimsical chronicles of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's life, we find our audacious hero faced with a new mission. After vanquishing the treacherous Matsunaga Hisahide, Hideyoshi receives a grand decree from Oda Nobunaga himself, a daunting task to conquer the vast lands of Chugoku region. And so, with resolve in his heart and a twinkle in his eye, Hideyoshi sets his sights on the provinces of Harima and Tajima. First, he embarks on the conquest of Harima, employing a clever strategy that would make even the wittiest of jesters chuckle. Taking local forces hostage, he convinces former Harima governor's loyal retainers such as Akamatsu Narifusa and Besho Nagaharu to join his campaign. And in a delightful turn of events, Hideyoshi's old acquaintance, Kuroda Kanbei, offers him the gift of Himeji Castle, a splendid fortress that becomes his strategic headquarters. With a gift castle in his possession and a silver tongue that can charm the birds from the trees, Hideyoshi proceeds to weave his web of influence, bringing mighty daimyos into his fold one by one. But alas, dear reader, life is never without its comedic twists and turns. Suddenly, the dashing Araki Murashige of Setsu province decides to stage a revolt. Oh, the audacity! This temporary setback halts Hideyoshi's conquest of Chugoku as the region plunges into chaos. But our hero is not one to be deterred. With his reputation as a mastermind of subjugation, Hideyoshi refuses to yield. Employing his tried and true methods of exhausting the enemy through siege and water attacks, he resolves each problem with the precision of a seasoned comedian delivering punchlines. No act of betrayal or revolt can dampen his spirits. For Hideyoshi knows the true power of patience and strategy. In the enchanting tapestry of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's adventures, a sudden twist of fate sends our hero on a thrilling journey. The year is 1582, and Hideyoshi's campaign to pacify the land of Chugoku is progressing swimmingly. But oh, dear reader, prepare yourself for a twist more surprising than a sneezing dragon. Enter the stage with a grand spectacle, the infamous incident at Hanaji. It is the audacious rebellion orchestrated by none other than the wily Akechi Mitsuhide. As news spreads of Oda Nobunaga's demise, consumed by flames within the very halls of Hanaji Temple, Hideyoshi finds himself caught in a whirlwind of intrigue. But fear not, for our hero is no stranger to the art of deception. Quick on his feet and with a cunning mind, Hideyoshi decides to conceal the news of Nobunaga's death. Instead, he strikes a deal with the formidable Mori Terumoto, feigning peace and pledging allegiance. With a wink and a nod, Hideyoshi turns his forces back towards Kyoto, a city brimming with secrets and treachery. The stage is set for an epic showdown, the Battle of Yamazaki, where our dashing hero confronts the insidious Akechi Mitsuhide and his loyalists. As Hideyoshi's army marches forward, he skillfully gathers the support of daimyos along the way, weaving a web of alliances that would make any spider green with envy. With a force of 40,000 warriors at his command, Hideyoshi's advantage over Mitsuhide's dwindling troops of fewer than 20,000 is as clear as a summer's day. But let us not forget, dear reader, that the stage of war is often enlivened by the dance of the unexpected. As the battle unfolds, Hideyoshi's comical genius shines through. He employs tactics that tickle the funny bone, strategies as clever and unexpected as a court jester's antics. With a mischievous grin, he outwits his foes and sends them reeling with laughter. All while inching closer to his ultimate goal, avenging the fallen Nobunaga and bringing the wayward Mitsuhide to justice. In the whimsical tale of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's escapades, a series of misadventures leads to a comical clash between him and the indomitable Shibata Katsui. Picture, dear reader, the year 1582, where intrigue and chaos abound. It all begins with a gathering of minds at the illustrious Kiyosu Castle, a meeting known as the Kiyosu Conference. The purpose? To determine Oda Nobunaga's successor and distribute his vast domains. Our hero, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, renowned for his triumph over Akechi Mitsuhide, boldly recommends the young lad called Sanboshi as the heir, much to the dismay of Shibata Katsui and his cohorts. Oh, the tension in the air! To further complicate matters, the division of territories grants Hideyoshi a whopping 280,000 koku, instantly propelling him to new heights of power. Alas, dear reader, while Hideyoshi's influence grows, so does the chasm between him and Shibata Katsui. The wily Shibata, loyal to the late Nobunaga, had favored Oda Nobunaga's third son, Oda Nobutaka, as the rightful successor. The Kyosu Conference becomes a battleground of arguments and quarrels between Hideyoshi and the stalwart Shibata. To make matters worse, Shibata Katsui's absence at Nobunaga's funeral only adds fuel to the flames, foreshadowing the impending chaos. In a delightful twist, it is discovered that Hideyoshi had maintained secret alliances with several Oda clan daimyos. This revelation, my dear reader, earns the ire of none other than Shibata Katsui himself. The animosity between the two intensifies, and the situation takes a turn for the worse. After the conference, young Sanboshi, the chosen heir, is held captive in Gifu Castle by Oda Nobutaka. Hideyoshi, seizing the opportunity, accuses Nobutaka of treason and lays siege to the very heart of Shibata Katsui's power, Nagahama Castle. With cunning and audacity, Hideyoshi emerges victorious, capturing Mino Province and reclaiming Sanboshi. In the following year, 1583, Hideyoshi faces off against Shibata Katsui and his 30,000-strong army at the fabled Battle of Shizugatake. This legendary clash, known as the Battle of Shizugatake's Seven Spears, features brave warriors who boast talents as magnificent as a dancing monkey on stilts. The battle becomes a stepping stone for Hideyoshi's ascent to supremacy. Initially, the fight seems evenly matched, but then a wild card appears. Maeda Toshi, fighting under Shibata Katsui's banner, unexpectedly abandons the battle. The morale of Shibata Katsui's forces crumbles like a stale rice cracker, and one by one, his commanders retreat, leaving the heart of Shibata Katsui's forces vulnerable to Hideyoshi's relentless assault. Overwhelmed by the chaos, Shibata Katsui makes a hasty escape to Kitano Castle in Echizen Province, only to find himself encircled by Hideyoshi's forces led by the valiant Maeda Toshi. In a moment of dramatic irony, Shibata Katsui, accompanied by his wife, Lady Oichi, takes his own life. Days later, Oda Nobutaka, ordered to commit seppuku, follows suit. With the demise of these formidable Oda clan figures, Hideyoshi, the master of mischief, erects Osaka Castle upon the very grounds of the former Osaka Honganji Temple. And so, dear reader, with laughter and triumph, the tale of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's escapades continues. In a world brimming with larger-than-life characters and absurd twists of fate, Hideyoshi's wit and audacity carve a path to victory. Join us on this delightful journey, where history and humor intertwine, and witness the birth of a legend, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the whimsical conqueror. In a tale filled with humor and hijinks, let me regale you with the story of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's misadventures during the battles of Kamaka and Nagakute. Picture, if you will, a world where war is not just about strategy and strength but also about the whimsical twists of fate. After the Battle of Shizugatake, our fearless protagonist Hideyoshi marches into the illustrious Azuki Castle, where Oda Nobunaga's second son, Oda Nobuo, resided. Now, why on earth would Hideyoshi ask him to vacate the premises? The reasons remain a mystery, but the story unfolds in the most comical of ways. In an unexpected turn of events, Hideyoshi issues a command to Oda Nobuo. "Come visit me as a New Year's greeting." Oh, the audacity! This simple request triggers a rebellious streak in Oda Nobuo, and he begins to show defiance towards the formidable Hideyoshi. Oda Nobuo, seeking to overthrow Hideyoshi, forms an alliance with the cunning Tokugawa Ieyasu. As part of his plot, he executes Hideyoshi's loyal retainers, Sugawa Yoshitaka, Okada Shigetaka, and Asai Nagatoki. This audacious move is essentially a declaration of war, and it ignites the fiery wrath of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. But fear not, dear reader, for the stage is set for a grand battle. Hideyoshi rallies the mighty warlords of Mino and Ise, such as Ikeda Tsuneoki and Mori Nagamasa, to join his cause. Meanwhile, Oda Nobuo, backed by his ally Tokugawa Ieyasu, calls upon the brave warriors of Tosa Province led by Chosokabe Motochika and the cunning Koga ninja of Kii Province. And so, the stage is set for the epic clash in the lands of Owari, Kamaka and Nagakute. This battle, known as the Battle of Kamaka and Nagakute, unfolds not only in the heartland of Owari but also spreads its humorous chaos to Hokuriku, Shikoku, and Kanto. The conflict drags on for a staggering 8 months. With skirmishes and shenanigans galore, Hideyoshi's forces, numbering around 120,000, dwarf Oda Nobuo and Tokugawa Ieyasu's combined strength of 40,000. Yet, dear reader, battles are not won by numbers alone. Alas, Hideyoshi's army begins to falter as the valiant Tokugawa forces, masters of deception and intelligence, foil their every surprise attack. The brave efforts of Tokugawa Ieyasu's strategists cost the lives of Ikeda Tsuneoki and Mori Nagamasa, leaving Hideyoshi in a precarious position. But fear not, for Hideyoshi, with his quirky resilience, devises a cunning plan. He launches an audacious assault on Oda Nobuo's strongholds in Mino and northern Ise, capturing them one by one. And then, in a twist of fate, he extends an offer of peace to Oda Nobuo, bypassing Tokugawa Ieyasu altogether. Oda Nobuo, oblivious to the alliance, accepts the peace offer, and thus, the curtains fall on this absurd theatrical performance of war. Allow me to spin a humorous tale in the style of an English novel, infused with wit and charm. Recounting the story of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's journey to become the ruler of all Japan. In the year 1585, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, with his sights set on unifying the nation, mustered a massive army of 100,000 soldiers, incorporating formidable warlords such as Mori Terumoto and Kobayakawa Takakage, and set forth to conquer the Shikoku region after conquering Kii Province. Meanwhile, in the imperial court, a comical rivalry was unfolding over the position of Kanpaka, the regent to the emperor. The contenders for this prestigious role were Nijo Akamasa and Kano Nobusuke. Kano Nobusuke, eager to assume the position of Kanpaka before Nijo Akamasa, boldly demanded that Nijo step aside and yield the regent's seat to him. The title of Kanpaka was reserved for the top 5 noble families, known as the Goseku, Ichija, Nijo, Kujo, Kano, and Takatsukasa, who had the privilege to assist the adult emperor in political affairs. Enter Toyotomi Hideyoshi, with his whimsical intervention as a mediator in the dispute over the Kanpaka position. Surprisingly, he became an adopted member of the Kano family, securing the title of Kanpaka for himself. With his newly acquired regent status, Toyotomi Hideyoshi proceeded to complete the subjugation of Shikoku by forcing Chosokabe Motochika, who had been ruling the region, to surrender. He then turned his attention to Sasanarimasa, who had defected to the Oda clan during the battles of Kamaka and Nagakute, and marched into the Echizen province. Through the mediation of Oda Nobuo, Toyotomi Hideyoshi successfully compelled Sasanarimasa to surrender, thus pacifying the provinces of Kii, Shikoku, and Echizen. In 1586, Hideyoshi received the prestigious surname Toyotomi bestowed upon him by Emperor Shoshinmanin, and he solidified his position by assuming the role of Teiko, Chancellor. This marked the establishment of Hideyoshi's reign. The following year, in 1587, Hideyoshi clashed with Shimazu Yoshihisa as part of his campaign to pacify Kyushu. After a fierce battle, Hideyoshi managed to make Shimazu Yoshihisa surrender. and he persuaded other resistant commanders like Shimazu Yoshihiro to submit to his rule. After spending about a year to pacify Kyushu, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, in December of the same year, issued the Somejire to the Kanto and Tohoku regions as the final touch to his nationwide unification. The Somejire was a law that prohibited private battles between daimyo, feudal lords, and imposed severe penalties such as dispossession or execution for any violations. Many daimyo expressed their submission to Hideyoshi's aggressive policies, but just then, an incident occurred that challenged Hideyoshi's authority. In a startling turn of events, Inomata Kuninori, a vassal of the Hojo clan, independently occupied the Uesugi clan's stronghold, Nakanakuramata Castle in Kazuku Province. This event, known as the Nakuramata Castle Incident, led Hideyoshi to take up arms, accusing Inomata of violating the Somejire. All the daimyo across the nation joined the fray, and an army of over 200,000 troops marched towards the Hojo clan for retribution. In 1590, the Siege of Odawara commenced. Hideyoshi conquered the castles in Izu, Suruga, and Sagami provinces that lined the path to Odawara Castle one after another. Some of the daimyo who had previously supported the Hojo clan began to defect, and ultimately, the Hojo clan surrendered. Handing over Odawara Castle, the territories once held by the Hojo clan were all assigned to Tokugawa Ieyasu, and even Kuniyoshi, who had stubbornly resisted Hideyoshi till the end, submitted. Thus, Toyotomi Hideyoshi's dream of unifying Japan was finally achieved. In the whimsical days preceding Toyotomi Hideyoshi's triumph in unifying Japan, an amusing event took place, the proclamation of the Katanagari-rei, or the Sword Hunt Edict. It was a time when farmers, merchants, and all sorts of folks were carrying swords and spears with gusto. But then, Hideyoshi had a brilliant idea. He thought, why not gather all those shiny blades and put them to better use? And so, he declared the Katanagari-rei, a law that forbade commoners from wielding weapons and authorized the confiscation of their precious arms. The nationwide sword hunt commenced, and it is said that over 10,000 swords and spears were collected. Can you imagine the looks on their faces as Hideyoshi's minions took away their prized possessions? But why did our mischievous ruler embark on such a quest? Well, let me rewind the clock a bit. A year before the Sword Hunt Edict, Hideyoshi noticed that the villages of Japan were not exactly peaceable paradises. They were rife with quarrels and brawls among the common folk. And being the innovative thinker he was, Hideyoshi devised a clever solution, the Kenka Teishi Rei, or the Cease Fighting Decree. Ah, yes, the Cease Fighting Decree. Hideyoshi proclaimed to all corners of the land that brawls were strictly forbidden. You can just imagine the perplexed expressions on the faces of those hot-headed villagers as they were told to put an end to their fisticuffs. But Hideyoshi knew that merely telling people to stop fighting wouldn't be enough. He had to get rid of the root cause, their beloved weapons. And thus, the Sword Hunt Edict was born. Now, here's where the hilarity ensues. Hideyoshi, always the shrewd strategist, devised a plan to collect those sharp instruments of combat in a rather cunning and intellectual manner. He dispatched swordsmiths across the country with a simple yet enticing message. We want to buy your fabulous swords. News of these traveling experts who could appraise the value of their prized blades spread like wildfire. Curiosity piqued. The villagers flocked to the swordsmiths, eager to know the worth of their treasured weapons. Little did they know, the crafty swordsmiths were recording the names of those who sought their expert appraisal. And lo and behold, when the time was ripe, Hideyoshi's minions used those records to locate and confiscate the very swords they had just admired. Oh, the irony! As a result, swords became the exclusive domain of the samurai. increasing their value and prestige. Hideyoshi, the mastermind behind this cunning scheme, had successfully concentrated the power of the sword in the hands of the elite while simultaneously diminishing the chances of rowdy brawls breaking out. In the comical tale of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the renowned ruler's final chapter unfolds. Gather round, for this story brims with humor and irony. It was the year 1593 when Hideyoshi and his consort, Lady Yodo, welcomed their long-awaited son, little Toyotomi Hidetada, into the world. This unexpected bundle of joy stirred quite the commotion, especially for Hideyoshi's loyal retainer, Toyotomi Hidenari. You see, just 2 years prior, in 1591, Hidenari had been appointed as the second Kanpaka, the chief advisor to the emperor. But alas, Hideyoshi, always one to be easily perturbed, grew suspicious of Hidenari and began to accuse him of treachery. In a fit of paranoia, Hideyoshi ordered not only Hidenari but all his retainers and even his extended family to perform the honorable act of seppuku, or ritual suicide. But that wasn't enough for our whimsical ruler. Oh no! To erase any trace of Hidenari's existence, Hideyoshi proceeded to demolish Hidenari's grand residence, the Jurakudai, and even his stronghold, the Hachimanyama Castle in Omi Province. It seems Hideyoshi had a flair for dramatic gestures. Fast forward to the year 1598, and Hideyoshi, nearing the end of his days, decided to throw a magnificent cherry blossom viewing party called the Daigo no Hanami in Kyoto's Daigoji Temple. Little did he know, this would be his final hurrah. His last chance to revel in the fleeting beauty of the blossoms. With a sense of impending doom, Hideyoshi summoned prominent figures like Tokugawa Ieyasu to Fushimi Castle. There, he imparted his final wishes, including them to pledge their unwavering loyalty to his beloved son, Hidetada, upon his passing. Oh, the irony of a man so fixated on power seeking assurances for his successor. Then, on August 18, 1598, Toyotomi Hideyoshi bid his earthly farewell, leaving this realm at the age of 62. The cause of his demise remains a topic of debate, but most attribute it to illness. A humorous twist, considering Hideyoshi's larger-than-life persona and his ambition to conquer all. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, hailed as one of the three great unifiers of Japan, alongside Oda Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu, possessed an uncanny charm that endeared him to others. From humble beginnings, he ascended the ranks, captivating hearts along the way, until he became the ruler of all under heaven. So captivating, in fact, that even in modern times, the Toyokuni Shrine, scattered across the country, continues to attract devoted followers, worshipping Hideyoshi as the deity of success. And thus, with a touch of jest and a sprinkle of irony, we bid adieu to Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a man whose journey from rags to ruler was as whimsical as it was extraordinary.